Shocking, girl's pain tells a devastating secret as millionaire father rushes in at 3 a.m. The clock struck 3, its hands whispering a chilling cadence, as the sprawling mansion loomed like a dark giant in the stillness of the night. At its heart, a hush fell over everything except for one room where a girl, barely 16, sat on the floor, her breath hitching in her throat. Tears streamed down her cheeks, glimmering like silver against the shadows, and with each shuddering sob, a profound agony pulsed through her. What could drive someone so young into such despair? The answer, tangled in anguish, lay deeper than anyone realized. Her name was Lily, a name that echoed sweetly yet belied the tempest within. The girl who everyone saw at charity galas in shimmering gowns now crumbled alone, doing her best to fight a battle that nobody could see. The room was sparse, filled only with echoes of laughter and an unyielding silence. A portrait of her father hung nearby, his proud smile mocking her pain. He was a millionaire, an enigma to the world, consumed by his empire and seemingly oblivious to the storm brewing within his daughter. Suddenly, the air shifted. A distant rumble shattered the stillness, an engine's roar cutting through the tension like a knife. Lily's heart raced. Was that her father? The deep thud of footsteps reverberated through the marble hallway. She could barely think through the fog of fear and hope, her mind racing with possibilities. Would he care that she was hurting? Would he even notice? When the door swung open, light spilled into the room like a flood, and there stood James, her father, face drawn and eyes wide with concern. Lily! He gasped, rushing towards her, shock painting his features. But as he neared, the moment turned electric. She could feel the truth crackling in the air. It was more than just a physical presence. In the flickering shadows, there was a secret hanging over them, thick and suffocating. What had she unleashed? Before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. In that charged silence, Lily clenched her fists, her heart pounding like thunder. She couldn't hide anymore, the weight of her pain was too heavy. But would she dare to reveal what lay behind her tears? The world outside felt like a distant echo, but here, in this profound moment with her father, everything hung in the balance. What was the secret that pressed so hard against her heart? What lies ahead that could change everything she thought she knew? The resolution hung just beyond reach, making Lily's chest tighten with the blend of fear and anticipation. What should she say next? Lily felt the weight of James' gaze, a mix of concern and confusion swirling in his eyes. And just like that, the dam inside her began to crack. Could she tell him? The urgency was palpable, and the silence felt charged, like a wire about to spark. "Dad," she finally breathed, her voice barely a whisper. It trembled on the air, shaking with both fear and determination. Slowly, she lifted her eyes to meet his, searching for reassurance. But instead, she found something else, something darker, as if he too were grappling with shadows of his own. "Lily, what's wrong? You look," he hesitated, as if the word broken hovered unspoken between them. She swallowed hard, tasting tears and bitterness. I can't hide it anymore." The pulse in her throat quickened. This was the moment, she told herself. "I've been feeling different. Like I'm not really here. I wake up every day, and I just feel empty." The words tumbled out, raw and jagged. A flicker of something crossed James' face, perhaps recognition or guilt. "Why didn't you say anything before?" he asked, his voice rising slightly. The concern turned into confusion, and for a split second, Lily saw a flash of anger lurking beneath the surface. "I would have. Would you have?" She shot back, the fire igniting in her chest. "You're never around. You don't know me, Dad. You only see the perfect daughter at the galas." Her voice cracked at the end, and the scent of desperation hung thick in the air. James took a step back, the shock evident on his features. "You think that's all I see?" He hesitated, struggling for words, and that brief moment of vulnerability forced Lily to realize how many walls had grown between them. In that instant of raw honesty, the lights overhead flickered, casting an eerie shadow across the room. Lily's heart raced as a sense of dread wormed its way into her gut. "Dad, I can't keep pretending. There's something what is it?" His voice was steady now, but the underlying tension was unmistakable. "You can tell me anything." Suddenly, the air grew thick, and a sound echoed from the hallway, a hushed whisper of footsteps. Lily flinched, both out of panic and instinct. Who else was there? The mansion felt suddenly alive with lurking secrets. "Dad, do you hear that?" she asked, her breath quickening. James turned sharply, his body tense. "I don't hear anything." "Lily, focus. What do you want to tell me?" But she could feel it, creeping like a shadow behind them. A shiver ran down her spine. Before she could answer, the door creaked open wider. The figure of a woman emerged, silhouette stark against the light spilling from the hallway. "Sorry to interrupt," the voice flowed coolly, laced with a familiarity that sent a chill through both James and Lily. "But I believe I have something you both need to hear." Pandemonium erupted in Lily's mind. This was it. Everything she had feared, every thread of her carefully woven world began unraveling. Who was this woman? James' expression twisted into one of disbelief. "You?" Lily's heart raced. Who was this stranger that stood there, so poised, so confident? The room felt like it was closing in, her breath growing shallow. "I think it's time for the truth to surface," and just like that, the dam broke completely. What awaited them now was an unraveling that went far beyond anything she had ever imagined. Would they be ready to face it? As secrets spilled into the open, she felt her past grind against her future, leading to an inevitable collision. The world as she knew it was about to shatter and reassemble. Everything was about to change. And in the silence that followed, Lily's chest tightened with an unprecedented dread. What if some secrets were never meant to be revealed? The silence hung between them, a taut string ready to snap. Lily's heart pounded so loudly she could barely hear her own thoughts. All her fears coiled into a tight knot in her stomach as she tried to make sense of the woman standing before them, dark hair cascading like a waterfall over her shoulders, her features too familiar for comfort. "Who are you?" Lily finally blurted, her voice shaking despite her attempt to sound defiant. The woman, with a devil-may-care smile, took a step closer. "Oh, we'll get to that in a moment. But first, let's discuss what you've been hiding, Lily." A wave of nausea crashed over Lily. How did she know her name? "Stay away from me." The words erupted from her like a frightened animal cornered, instinctively protecting itself. James stiffened beside her, eyes wide with confusion. "What is this? Who are you?" His voice, usually so steady and strong, wavered under the weight of the unknown. "I think you both need context," the woman said, her voice smooth but laced with a dangerous edge. "After all, we all have our secrets." Lily's mind raced. It was impossible to frame a thought amidst the storm swirling in her gut. She felt James tense beside her, his body radiated frustration and fear. "We don't have any secrets," he said, but they both knew the lie. "Don't you?" The woman arched an eyebrow, the playful light in her eyes flickering ominously. "You might want to listen up. There's a lot more at stake here than you realize." "I'll call the police," James said, suddenly grabbing his phone from his pocket, but the woman simply chuckled, a sound that was both delightful and dreadful. "You think that's necessary? You really don't want to make this worse. What do you know?" Lily pressed, her voice rising as she took a step forward. She felt a strange dichotomy of courage and fear. Everything, the woman replied, her smile widening. About you. About your family. Panic clawed at Lily's chest. Why should we trust you? Trust is a luxury, dear. But I come bearing information that will change everything, she replied, each word dropping like a weight. Your father's secret could shatter your world. In that moment, Lily's heart stopped. She couldn't breathe. Every realization jammed into her thoughts, desperate for escape. She remembered the late nights, the whispered conversations just out of reach through the walls. The phone calls he took in the dead of night. Stop. James barked, desperation spilling into his voice. You're lying, this is some twisted game. Is it? The woman leaned in, a predator circling its prey. What if everything you thought you knew was built on a lie? Don't. Lily shouted, now seething, heart racing. Don't you dare try to manipulate us. But that's just it, Lily. You're not even close to ready for the truth. A silence blanketed the room, suffocating. As the weight of her words settled, Lily could feel her world threatening to unravel. She glanced at James, searching for any hint of reassurance, but there was none. His eyes mirrored her own turmoil, confusion, and fear. Listen, the woman said, voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. You can spare yourself a lot of pain if you just hear me out. I promise it's not what you think. Lily felt rage bubble inside her at the audacity of this intruder, and yet an unsettling curiosity gnawed at her resolve. What if her world really was a lie? Somewhere deep inside, doubt flickered like a candle in the dark, feeding a new kind of terror. What's your name? Lily managed to ask, still trying to grasp any semblance of control. Call me Ava. The name resonated like an echo in an empty hall. Ava stepped closer, eyes locking onto Lily's with an intensity that stole her breath. You need to know, Lily. The truth is far darker than you ever imagined. With that, Lily dared to step into the unknown, drawn in by shadows that threatened to consume her. And in that moment, hovering on the brink of revelation, she couldn't shake the dreadful feeling lurking in her gut. What if the truth turned out to be more horrifying than the lies? The air was thick with tension, a live wire humming in the shadows. Lily felt trapped, adrenaline coursing through her veins. She shot a glance at James, whose face was a mask of disbelief. They both stood there, anchored to the spot as Ava loomed closer, her presence almost ethereal and threatening. What truth? Lily finally managed to ask, her voice barely above a whisper. She could hardly comprehend the dread coiling tighter around her heart. It was as if the world outside had dimmed, leaving only this charged moment. Ava pressed her lips together, as if savoring the weight of her next words. Your father, he has a past. A heavy one. It's time for you to know who he really is. Lily's mind flickered through memories, her father's warm laughter, the hours he spent in the garage, tinkering with things she hardly understood. The image shattered like glass, revealing cracks she had chosen to ignore. You don't know anything about him, she said, but her voice trembled. Oh, but I do, Ava replied, her smirk cutting like a knife. He's a man built on lies and manipulation. All his wealth, a facade. I can show you everything. James tightened his grip on the phone, his knuckles turning white. Enough with the mind games. You're not going to drag us into whatever twisted reality you're living in. Ava turned her gaze toward him, her smile melting into something darker. But you're already in it, James. You just don't know how deep it goes. Lily felt the ground shift beneath her feet. What are you talking about? Her voice was thick with disbelief, each word hanging in the air like a watchful predator. Let's just say your father's decisions have consequences, and I'm here to deliver the message. Ava leaned in, lowering her voice to a whisper that seemed to echo. Did you ever wonder why he is so protective? Why you've been sheltered from the truth? In that moment, Lily's stomach twisted, a cold sweat breaking out across her brow. What do you mean? Ava straightened, the secret unfolding like a dark flower. Let us not beat around the bush, shall we? You have a sister, Lily. An older sister. The words hit like a punch to the gut. Lily's heart raced violently, her mind racing. That's impossible. She shouted, even as something deep inside her whispered doubts, firing connections she'd never made. Is it? Ava pressed, a glimmer of satisfaction flashing in her eyes. You've always been the golden child your father's pride. But what if I told you he left another behind? A child raised outside your perfect little bubble? James released a deep breath, his face shadowed with realization. This can't be true, he muttered, shaking his head. Why would he hide this? Because the truth can only be hidden for so long, Ava replied, her voice steady and ominous. And now, the cracks are beginning to show. Panic erupted in Lily's chest, a fierce and unfamiliar feeling. Why are you telling us this? She demanded. What do you stand to gain? Let us just say I have my reasons, Ava said, tilting her head. She shifted her weight, pacing slightly. But you need to decide, are you willing to face the truth? Or will you close your eyes and continue living in blissful ignorance? A chill rushed through Lily, the weight of Ava's words drumming in her ears. The notion of a sister, a whole life hidden from her, clawed at her stability. Her heart raced with fear, a blend of fury and unshakable doubt. Enough! James snapped, stepping protectively in front of Lily. You're toying with us, and I won't let you tear apart their family. Ava's eyes gleamed with a dark fire. This isn't a game, James. This is your chance to protect her or to let her walk into a nightmare. Lily glanced from Ava to James, struggling to catch her breath. The room felt suffocating now, the shadows creeping closer. Choices loomed around her like hungry wolves, and in that moment, she knew she was standing at an unspeakable crossroad. What do we do? She whispered, grappling with uncertainty. Ava leaned back, a satisfied gleam in her eye. That's for you to decide, Lily. But remember, every truth comes with its own burden and its own cost. As Ava stepped back, the atmosphere shifted, growing heavier. The turning point hung in the air, and the question solidified within Lily's chest: was she prepared to uncover the secrets that could shatter her life forever? And as the silence deepened, a distant sound echoed through the room, a cell phone ringing, its tone cutting through the tension like a siren. But it was no ordinary call. Lily could feel it, an omen of something monumental about to unfold. Would she answer? The ringing seemed to vibrate through the walls, shattering the heavy silence that filled the air. Lily's heart pounded in her chest as her eyes darted between Ava and James, the weight of uncertainty hanging like lead over them. The phone rang again, each chime echoing her internal chaos. Answer it. James urged, his voice rising with urgency. Anger washed over him, but something unmistakably anxious flickered in his gaze. It could be important. With trembling fingers, Lily reached for the phone. The screen flashed her father's name. How could he be calling now? Shock held her in place for a heartbeat, but fear compelled her forward. She swiped to answer, her voice barely a breath. Dad? Silence hung on the other end, oppressive and heavy. Lily. Thank God you picked up. His voice came through, jagged and strained, tinged with an urgency that sent a shiver racing down her spine. You need to get out of there. What? What are you talking about? She pressed the phone closer, her heart hammering faster. Dad, is everything okay? No. No, it's not okay. You have to trust me. He exclaimed, the panic palpable in his tone. Ava, she's dangerous. I can't explain over the phone, but you must leave. Now. Why? What is going on? Lily felt the ground beneath her shift again, the reality of the moment morphing as she glanced over at Ava, whose smirk had returned, dark and knowing. "Lily, please. Just look out for yourself. I'll explain everything when this is over, I promise. Get somewhere safe." The urgency in his voice tugged at Lily, pierced through the whirlpool of confusion and fear. Yet a nagging voice echoed in her mind. Ava's words hung like a specter, shadowing her father's frantic call. "Is this about my sister?" She pressed, desperation lacing her tone. "What have you done? Get out." "I can't." The call disconnected, leaving her holding a lifeline that had just snapped into static. Her heart thudded in her chest, the air suddenly heavy with dread. She turned to Ava, who looked almost gleeful. "Did you hear that?" Lily demanded, her voice trembling with disbelief. "What have you done to him? Why did he sound like that?" Ava stepped forward, her expression sharp, teeth bared in a predatory grin. "You really don't understand, do you? Your father can't protect you any longer. The more you push, the deeper you're dragged into a web woven long before you were born." Lily swallowed hard, a cold realization washing over her. Ava was holding all the cards, and her father's warning only heightened her fear. James moved beside Lily, eyes narrowed at Ava, poised as if ready for a fight. "You need to get lost, Ava. This ends now." "Does it?" Ava traced a finger across her chin, amusement dancing in her eyes. "If you only knew what was coming. The truth is a lot messier than you can imagine. Just wait, it will all catch up to you." A wave of emotions crashed over Lily: fear, anger, confusion, but she felt the need to act now, to do something before Ava could trap her in this nefarious game further. "What if we leave right now?" she suggested, voice steadying, face determined. "The three of us. We can find answers together." James hesitated, a flicker of doubt crossing his features. "Are you sure? What if it's a trap? Better than being here, surrounded by lies." Lily shot back, her resolve hardening. She could feel Ava watching with a predatory anticipation, like a shark sensing fear in the water. "Really? You think running is the solution?" Ava laughed, the sound cold and biting. "You can't escape what's already in motion, sweetheart. It's only just begun." But it was a decision Lily had to make, a step she needed to take. Grabbing James's hand, she tugged him toward the door. "Come on. We don't have time to waste." Just as they turned, a loud crash echoed from behind them, a sudden explosion of sound that jolted Lily's heart and sent adrenaline pulsing through her veins. The front door splintered open, a figure silhouetted in the darkness. "Lily." It was her father, eyes wide and filled with panic as he rushed inside, but in that moment, everything changed. The room was now a storm of possibilities, and with her father having arrived in frantic haste, Lily realized she wasn't just facing Ava anymore. She was stepping onto a battlefield of secrets, danger, and unleashed truths. "Dad! What happened?" she cried, but her father's expression sent a jolt through her, his face twisted with fear and urgency. He was about to speak when their eyes fell on Ava, who stood back, a satisfied grin painted on her face. "Looks like the party's just getting started," she taunted, her voice nearly dripping with malice. "Welcome home to the truth." As the line between safety and peril blurred, Lily felt the weight of the world closing in around her. Would she be ready for the chaos that followed? Or had she already stepped too deep into the darkness to turn back? The air crackled with tension as Lily's heart raced. Her father's frantic eyes darted between her and Ava, their presence a twisted knot of conflicting emotions. "Lily, we have to go," he shouted, his voice trembling under the weight of urgency. "Now. What about Ava?" she sputtered, eyes wide, torn between fear and the desperate need for answers. "What are you talking about?" Ava stepped forward, a smooth smile playing at the corners of her lips. "Ah, Daddy dearest has arrived. But can he truly save you, Lily? Or is he just dragging you further into the mess? James flinched, about to confront Ava, but Lily grabbed his arm, shaking her head. No. We need to listen to my dad. Lily, trust me. Everything I've done was to protect you, her father insisted, taking a step closer, desperation etched across his features. We can't let her manipulate us any longer. We have to leave now. Ava's laughter pierced the air, a sound that turned Lily's blood cold. This isn't just about protection. Your father has secrets of his own. Secrets that could shatter your world. What does that mean? Lily's voice cracked, confusion gripping her. Tell me the truth. But Ava interjected, a sinister gleam in her eyes. Some truths are better left unspoken, dear. After all, isn't ignorance bliss? Stop it. James shouted, stepping forward, fists clenched. We have to go, Lily. Now. She felt ensnared, caught between her father's urgent pleas and Ava's oppressive presence. The weight of choices hung heavy in the air. Could she trust either of them? Would running truly set her free, or was it just a fool's errand? Lily, don't listen to her. Her father's voice rose, echoing through the chaos. Ava wants you to doubt me. She's been playing you from the start. For a split second, doubts flickered like candlelight in her mind. Could her father's truth be more dangerous than the shadows Ava cast? Then Ava's voice cut through the contorted tension, dripping with toxic sweetness. Do you really think he's your protector? Where was he when we needed him most? When your sister, we could have saved her if he only had the courage to act. A jolt of pain pierced Lily's heart. What do you know about my sister? The chilling silence that followed consumed the room, filling her with dread. Her father stepped closer, the war in his eyes revealed in stark relief. Lily, they're lies. Don't let her get to you. But Lily felt unease washing over her as Ava's smile widened, the shard of truth glinting in her words. Can you honestly say your father hasn't lied to you about everything? That you weren't just a pawn in a bigger game? James grabbed Lily's shoulder, squeezing tightly. We have to go. Now. No. Lily tore herself from his grip, spinning to face her father. What did you do? What did you mean everything you did was to protect me? Her father's expression fractured, anguish spilling over. I wanted to keep you safe, to keep you out of this. But it's too late for that now. As the words hung thick in the air, the house felt alive, vibrating with uncertainty. Ava's eyes glinted with anticipation as if she were relishing in their unraveling. Then they heard a sound, faint yet chilling, echoing from the darkness beyond footsteps. Her father's face paled, realization dawning. They're here, we need to move. But where? The specter of danger loomed over them, shadows creeping closer, suffocating any semblance of safety. Lily, her father said, pleading. You need to trust me. We can escape this. Together. A part of her wanted to believe him, but doubts wrapped around her like a vice. What would trust cost her? Quick, this way. James urged, pulling her toward a dimly lit hall that led to the back door. But each step felt heavy, laden with fear of what lay ahead and what they might uncover. As they stepped into the night, Lily glanced back at Ava, whose expression was a mixture of triumph and something darker. Run, run as fast as you can, Ava taunted, her voice trailing behind them. You can't escape your fate. But Lily's decision was sealed. Whatever awaited them in the dark was better than facing Ava's wicked games. Their adrenaline surged as they plunged into the uncertainty of the night. Still, with every echoing footstep behind them, a haunting question lingered in her mind. Was the truth really what she wanted, or would it only shatter everything she believed? As they darted into the shadows, the night remained full of secrets waiting to be uncovered. Would fate bring them solace or obliteration? The chill of the night air took Lily's breath away, and every frantic heartbeat echoed in the silence that enveloped them. She felt sick, caught in the whirlwind of her father's desperation and Ava's taunting poison. They raced down the narrow alley, shadows from the flickering streetlights cast dancing shapes on the cracked pavement. "James, wait!" Lily gasped, pulling against her father's grip. "Where are we going?" "Any place but here," he replied urgently, his eyes scanning the darkened street ahead. "We need to find a safe place and fast." But safe felt like a distant concept. The footsteps were getting closer, too close. She could almost hear the breath of their pursuers, could sense the malicious delight swirling behind her. Ava's laughter pursued them, a haunting echo growing distant but never fading. "Keep moving," James urged, shoving her ahead, but Lily's thoughts were racing faster than her legs. What did she truly know about any of them? Her father had always been her protector, the one person she could count on. Yet the doubt Ava had seeded in her mind was a dark cloud, blurring every memory of trust. They sped past a row of potted plants, their vibrant colors muted in the night. Now was the time to question everything: her past, her father, even her own heart. "Daddy, stop!" Lily pulled him to a halt, her voice sharp. "What did you mean when you said it was too late? What secrets are you hiding?" Lily, his voice cracked, a raw edge creeping in. "It's complicated." "Complicated?" she shouted, feeling the hot sting of tears. "How can it be complicated? You could have saved her. You could have saved me. What are you talking about?" He shot back, eyes wide with disbelief. "I'm talking about my sister. Did you let her die?" The accusation hung in the air like a thunderstorm waiting to break. "No. You don't understand," he began, but another distant sound interrupted him. The pounding of heavy boots was unmistakable now, chasing them through the growing darkness. A surge of adrenaline coursed through her veins. "We have to go. We can talk later, but we can't stay here." Her instincts kicked in. Without waiting for his response, she yanked him by the wrist, propelling them down the street. They sprinted past shuttered shops and deserted cafes, the anticipation of someone lurking in the dark gnawing at her. Lily could feel the world closing in, suffocating. Just as they turned a corner, a harsh light washed over them, headlights blinding, screeching tires scrambling for grip against asphalt. "Get down!" James barked, pulling her to the ground as a car raced past. It slowed, doors flung open, and two figures leaped out, uniformed and authoritative. "Stop! Police!" one of the officers shouted. Lily froze, the horror of realization hitting her. In that split second stretched like an eternity, the world around her blurred. Were they there to save her or to capture her father? "Come on!" James yelled, dragging her towards the alleyway. They ducked behind a trash bin, the stench overwhelming her senses. "They're not here for us," James whispered, but his eyes hinted at uncertainty. His grip tightened around her arm. The officers were shouting now, radio crackling to life, and all Lily could hear was the mask of panic echoing in her head. What did this darkness lead to? A scream echoed in the distance, harsh and desperate, and Lily's heart sank. It wasn't just danger. It was a warning: should they trust those who sounded like authorities or run deeper into chaos? The choice grew thornier with every second. As the officers began combing the area, Lily's chest tightened, her mind spinning with vile possibilities. Were they truly the good guys? The shadows around her shifted ominously. Lily, her father's urgent whisper broke through. "We can't stay here. We need to keep moving, now." And just as she turned to nod, she caught sight of a flicker in the shadows, another figure, cloaked and still, watching. Their eyes met, and the flood of recognition crashed over her like ice water. Was this the ally she desperately needed, or the worst enemy she could imagine? The weight of the moment felt like a stone in her gut, uncertainty coiling tighter as they prepared to make their next move. What other secrets were buried in the depths of this night? Who could she trust, and at what cost? Lily's heart raced as she narrowed her gaze on the figure lurking in the shadows. Beneath the dim light, the face was obscured, but there was something familiar about the way they stood stoic, almost defiantly against the chaos. "Stay low," James hissed, pulling her closer to him. "We need to make a move. Now." Lily didn't let go of his hand, but her mind was anchored to the stranger. The feeling in her gut twisted into something darker, more potent. "Dad, who is that?" "I don't know," he breathed, but his eyes betrayed him, flickering with something that resembled fear. Before she could question further, the cloaked figure dipped into the alley, slipping between the shadows as if they were made of smoke. For a moment, Lily considered chasing after it, driven by the nagging sensation that this person held the key to everything she was dying to understand. But then the sound of shouting officers drew nearer again, breaking her focus. "Let us go," James urged, and she nodded, forcing her legs to move despite the leaden weight of uncertainty in her mind. They plunged deeper into the backstreets, the darkness wrapping around them like a shroud. As they neared a deserted street corner, the silence grew almost suffocating. An alley stretched to the right, the perfect hideout. But as James pulled Lily into it, she could feel the air around them pulsating with tension. "Here," he said, his voice barely above a whisper, as they crouched behind a dumpster. The faint scent of mildew and decay filled the space, and Lily's stomach churned in response. "Do you really think they're not looking for us?" she asked, barely holding it together. The reality of what could happen next weighed on her, the fear biting deeper than before. They had just crossed paths with the law, whatever that could mean for her father. James glanced sharply at her, fear sparking in his eyes. "Right now, we need to stay quiet. We can't take any chances." But the fight in Lily began to simmer. And what if we run into them again? The question haunted her. What if her father was really involved in something dark? What if it was all true? "Don't start this again," James snapped, clenching his fists at his sides. "I'm doing everything I can to protect you." "Protect me?" she shot back. "By hiding from the people who could help us? What if they're the good guys?" The sound of more footsteps approached, foreign voices filtering through the sudden tension. James's grip tightened around her wrist. "Stop talking," he hissed, eyes darting toward the alley entrance, breaths quickening. Suddenly, a chill ran through the air as the two police officers rounded the corner, their flashlights illuminating the dark recesses of the alley. "Someone's here," one shouted, urgency sparking in their tone. The sound of their radios crackled to life. "Check that side." Panic surged through Lily. They couldn't be caught here. It would mean more questions, more danger. Her mind raced. "Lily, if they find us, you need to run," James whispered urgently, the fear stark on his face. "You have to get away." "What?" She almost laughed, though it was shaky. "Leave you?" "Listen. You don't know what's at stake." In that moment, everything shifted. The truth bore down hard, her heart pounding wildly against her chest. Trust and betrayal tangled together like ivy, choking her thoughts. Then, breaking through the turmoil, she remembered the figure. What if that person from before? But before she could finish, the officers stepped in closer, flashlights sweeping the alley. Her breath caught, face flushing with dreadful urgency. "There's someone here," the officer barked. His partner nodded, their stance purposeful. Without thinking, Lily turned back toward the alley's entrance, intent on rushing past her father. "I can't let them take you." "Lily, stop." James's voice rang out, panic-stricken, but her decision was made. She had to know. As she moved, the world surged with vividness and dread. The night became an echo of footsteps, flashing lights, and her own thundering heart. But as she pushed out into the light, the cloaked figure appeared before her once again. "What are you doing?" it hissed. The words slashed through the air like a blade. Suddenly, life twisted in a way Lily never anticipated, and she felt the ground shift beneath her feet. With a final glance toward her father, she recognized the crossroads of her fate, the dark mantle of secrets inching closer. Her next move would determine everything. Would she follow the stranger into the depths of the unknown? Or stand by her father, shrouded in uncertainty? The question hung thick in the air, a promise of the tangled webs waiting to unfold. The air crackled with tension as the cloaked figure stepped out of the shadows, jagged edges of adrenaline cutting through the veil of uncertainty surrounding Lily. She barely had time to register that this was not just any stranger, it was someone she felt deep down might change everything. "Come with me," the figure urged, voice low and urgent. "There's no time to explain here." Lily's pulse raced, her mind torn. Questions swirled in her head. Who was this person? How did they know her? What could they possibly know about her father? James pressed forward, trying to break the confusion. "Lily, don't. We don't even know who that is." His voice cracked with desperation as he glared at the stranger. "Your father's life is at stake." The cloaked figure snapped, eyes blazing in the dim light, flickering like flames. The urgency in their tone cut through the chaos. In that moment, something shifted in Lily. Fear bubbling beneath the surface was overtaken by a burning curiosity. It twisted her gut, pulling her closer to the truth that waited just beyond the shadows. "Step away from her!" James shouted, jumping to protect Lily, his body tense and ready. "You're not taking her anywhere." Lily hesitated, caught between the dark alley and the pull of the unknown. "What do you mean my father's life is at stake?" she demanded, her voice trembling, fighting to stay steady. "There's a conspiracy," the figure answered, stepping closer, the edges of their cloak fluttering like dark wings. "They've framed him for something he didn't do. You need to trust me. I can help." The police officers' voices boomed closer, metal and urgency clasping the air. "We have to go, Lily," James urged, casting frantic glances in every direction. Her heart thudded painfully against her ribs. She had spent years idolizing her father, but with every shadow that crossed her path tonight, doubt crept in. Could he truly be innocent? "What if you're lying?" she shot back, desperation leaking into her voice. "What if you're only leading me into more danger?" "Lily, please." The figure's face flickered momentarily in the light. "It's not just your dad's life at stake any longer. They'll come for you too." Time seemed to stand still. The officers' footsteps grew louder and she could hear the urgency of their breaths approach closer. "Then what do I do?" she whispered, the realization settling in that she might have to abandon everything familiar to her all for the chance to uncover the truth. The cloaked figure extended a hand, as though trying to bridge the gap between them, bridging the night and her decisions. "Follow me. The choice is yours, but I promise you'll find answers." Her instincts screamed at her to run, to stay with James, but the raw desperation for truth clawed at her. Just as she reached out to the figure, a bright beam of light flooded the alley, blinding her momentarily. The officers burst forward, weapons drawn, shouting orders. "Get back!" one of them yelled, and suddenly, the illusion of safety was gone. "James!" she cried out. Before she could process what was happening, the cloaked figure spun around, moving faster than she thought possible. "Go! Now!" But as she turned, a strong hand grabbed her arm, pulling her back into the darkness. James's eyes were frantic, the worry etched on his face like a mask. "It's a trap!" he shouted. "I want to let you go." But those dark forces loomed close, wrapping their fingers around her mind, suspending her in the pull of fear and revelations. Walker was right. At that moment, the urgency escalated. "Help me!" she screamed, torn between the safety of her father and the magnetic pull of truths hidden in the dark. The world twisted, shadows danced, and her heart thundered against the backdrop of chaos. Just as she stood on the threshold of making a choice about her fate, the unexpected happened. With a gust of wind, the cloaked figure vanished into nothingness, leaving Lily stunned, staring at the empty alley before her. Now it was just her and James, trapped in silence, as the police closed in around them. Would they uncover her father's secrets? Or would this night swallow them whole? The choice was no longer hers alone. Secrets burrowed deeper into darkness as the truth loomed larger like a beast waiting to pounce. Yet the question lingered, heavy and suffocating: what awaited them when the dust settled? The chaos of the night lingered like smoke in Lily's lungs. One heartbeat echoed against the next as she stood frozen in the darkness, James gripping her wrist with fierce urgency. The air felt electric, charged with a horrid mix of dread and opportunity. The cloaked figure was gone, vanished into thin air, leaving behind only confusion and fear. "Lily, we need to go." James's voice broke through her trance, pulling her back into the present. She blinked, her mind racing. "But the police, we can't wait. They're not here to help us," he insisted, urgency painting every word. As distant voices drew nearer, Lily felt her heart quicken, a frenzied dance against her ribs. She had to decide. Trust her father? Or pursue the shadows whispering secrets she needed to uncover? What if they're the ones who are lying? The thought gripped her tightly, a question she couldn't shake off. James's eyes darkened with concern. "Right now, we need to survive. We'll figure everything else out later, I promise." Tension mounted with each step as they navigated the alleyway, shadows swirling like ghosts around them. They slipped past trash cans and barely lit doorways, heartbeats mingling with hurried breaths, until they found themselves on a deserted street. The night loomed heavy, a blanket of uncertainty, but safety felt tantalizingly out of reach. James paused, eyes darting around, searching for threats. "We can't keep running forever," he murmured, the weight of their situation pressing down on him. "We need answers," Lily insisted, her voice firm and clear. "I have to know what is happening. I can't go on like this." "But what if he started?" But Lily cut him off. "No. I need to know if Dad is telling the truth." She felt a tugging at her gut, a mix of fear and determination. "Ava said he's built on lies. Maybe I should have listened." James shook his head vehemently. "Ava is playing a game. You can't just trust her words, and you certainly can't put your fate in the hands of someone we don't know." Her chest tightened with a blend of fear and resolve. But is he really innocent? The question hung between them, gnawing at their core. They turned a corner, which opened into a small park, moonlight filtering through the trees, illuminating the path ahead. For the first time in what felt like forever, a flicker of hope sparked in Lily. "If there's a way to learn the truth, we need to find it," she said. James nodded, a hint of defiance shaping his features. "All right. Then let us head to the old diner," he suggested. "It's mostly abandoned now, but it has a back room we can lock ourselves in. We'll figure out our next move there." They made for the diner, their path illuminated by a flickering neon sign that barely lit the darkness. Each footstep echoed with urgency as they reached the door. As they slipped inside, the stale air felt like a long-lost embrace, but Lily knew it wouldn't last. She could almost hear the footsteps of reality trailing after them. Inside, they scanned the dusty room. The remnants of a once busy diner flickered like memories: sticky booths, chipped countertops, and a jukebox that hadn't played in years, each element a testament to time past and secrets buried. "Lock it," James ordered, his eyes sharp. The urgency in his voice shot through her like a jolt of electricity. Lily rushed to the door, the squeak of the lock unsettling in the silence. "Now what?" she asked, swallowing hard as she turned back to him. "Now we talk." His gaze locked onto hers, a shared understanding sweeping between them. "It's all about trust, Lily. I need you to trust me as we unravel this." A burst of resolve exploded within her. "You're right. But we should consider everything: Ava, the police." The words hung in the air, but James' expression was unwavering. "We'll confront your dad if we have to. But right now, we need to keep our heads straight. Suddenly, a soft knock at the door disrupted the stillness, causing both of them to jump. Tension rippled through the space like an electric current, eyes wide upon each other. "Lily?" A faint voice called, unmistakably familiar. Her heart dropped. It was her father. "Dad?" She replied, disbelief choking the air. "Let me in. Quickly." His voice was tight with urgency, a mixture of desperation and relief flooding her senses. "Is it a trick?" James whispered, brow furrowing in instinctive caution. "Open the door." He insisted, but Lily hesitated, her heart racing with dread. "Lily, you have to decide," James urged, eyes flashing. She felt it, an instinct igniting inside her. Did she trust the father who raised her, the man she idolized? Or keep her guard up against the possibilities of betrayal? The weight of her decision felt heavy, but she was growing tired of the darkness surrounding her. With a deep breath, she took a step toward the door, each heartbeat pounded in her throat. "Dad? Please." His voice trembled, counting on her. Swallowing hard, she reached for the handle, ready to unlock it and expose the truth. As the door swung open, Lily braced herself for whatever storm awaited, her heart both heavy and loyal as she stepped into the unknown. "I'm here," she whispered, more for herself than anyone else. "Together, we'll find the truth." And with that, the final threshold blurred, uncertainty lingering in the shadows, but determination flickered like flames illuminating the dark storm ahead. Whatever came next belonged to them, the future was theirs to shape. If you want to join Lily in her journey and uncover deeper truths, this is the moment to take charge. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories, smash that like button now to feed the algorithm and help us grow, flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about Lily's fate, and don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Your support is crucial, let us build this community together.